Hello everybody, good morning and welcome to the United Stand. This is your latest Manchester United transfer news as Cristiano Ronaldo feels your frustration. The Timber deal is not over yet. We'll also have updates on Jong, Anthony and a massive 48 hours for Manchester United. Remember, this time on Friday, that bank account button will be passing money from the Manchester United Football Club to the Glazers, £11 million, and yet they've not spent £1 on this transfer window so far. Lots to get into this morning. The first thing we're going to talk about, and I will just put the quote up on the screen so you can see what I'm talking about. This is in relation to Cristiano Ronaldo. Cristiano Ronaldo is worried with the reinforcements made by rivals and Manchester United's passivity in the market. Cristiano does not want to exhaust one of the last seasons in the elite with no options to win any title. Now, some people are saying this is a rubbish source, but actually they have been quite right about a few things when it comes to Cristiano Ronaldo. What I would say in relation to that, and I've always said this about Cristiano Ronaldo, that he is effectively, I mean, obviously he's a fan of Manchester United. I don't think you can deny that. Excuse me. But when we bought Cristiano Ronaldo, we said this, that effectively you're getting a super fan in the dressing room. And not necessarily because he's obsessed with Manchester United being successful like we are as fans, but because he's obsessed with being successful in his own career as well. He won't let those standards drop. And I guarantee you, this is good that Cristiano Ronaldo will be sat there like on holiday, getting ready to come back from holiday, thinking, well, what's going on? What is going on? And it's important to remember that there'll be certain people in that dressing room who are just so look at me running around and doing the gym. They're only interested in themselves. They won't be thinking, why haven't we bought any players? Because they're desperate to get back and keep their place. It's that winning mentality that Cristiano Ronaldo, I don't think people think of it like this, because of course Cristiano Ronaldo is ridiculously focused and selfish, because that's what you have to be what he's achieved. You have to have an element of selfishness, you do. But the brilliance of the selfishness of Ronaldo is that he wants to win. So for whatever team he plays for, whether it's Real Madrid, Manchester United, Juventus, having someone like that in the dressing room is huge, because it makes you more likely to win, having somebody who's obsessed with winning. Like I say, he's so confident in his own ability and he's so hungry for success. He's sat there going, well, where are the players being brought in to improve that shower of shit I was playing with last season? Whereas some of our players, they're just focused on themselves. They're like, I don't want to hear about any transfers because I need to get my place back. Get me down the gym and let me get like Kate Bush running up that hill, you know. So I think this is a good thing, even though it's potentially a bad thing, that Ronaldo, I think, will be frustrated. I think he will be impatient. And I think he will be wondering about why rivals who are miles ahead of us are doing business and we're not. Now, he's probably had some reassurance, but he's an elite athlete as well. He'll also know, well, look, all right, you're telling me you're buying this player, you're buying that player. You haven't bought them yet. And also, when are you going to buy them? Because we need to be training with them together. I need to know if you're going to buy Jong or you're going to buy Anthony. They're very important to my game. I want to be training with them. I want to know where they play the ball. I want them to know what runs I'm making. I don't want them to be turning up a week before the first game of the season. So I take this as a positive. Baj, welcome to the Members Club. Hi Mark, could you shout out my TikTok, Richie's Food and Nature? Love the show, says Richie's Food and Nature. There you go, there's his TikTok as well. So I'm sure some people will check it out, Richie. Dortmund just signed their 6th player while we're still in talks to sign our first one, says Phil. And Jar Jar Binks, welcome to the Members Club. Thank you very much for joining there. My least favourite Star Wars character, but one of my favourite members. There we go. So look, in relation to Cristiano Ronaldo, I don't take this, by the way, as a threat that he's going to leave. I don't think we're anywhere near that. I think that if we didn't sign anybody, he would try and force a move, and I wouldn't blame him. But I think this is more a statement of what's going on. What is the statement of intent for Manchester United? We're back in training soon. There's no buzz. The team was crap last year. It was riddled with toxicity and crap. Where is the improvement? And I think Ronaldo probably is sat there wanting to enjoy his holiday, thinking ahead of a new season in the World Cup and going, where's the buzz around this club? Why are we not getting any buzz? And I think it's not a threat to leave. I think it's a warning about we've got to start doing some business, because it is actually impacting on the mood. People will go back to training on Monday, and are they excited? Are they excited to go training the week after when there's no change? The club need to create a buzz, and I'm amazed that nobody's really picking up on this. I'm tired of the transfer window's been open for 2 weeks. It's a challenging market. We're confident we'll get where we need to at the end. But it's all about buzz. Everything's about buzz. Confidence, enthusiasm. Where is that? Because we're not bringing any of that at the moment, and the club needs to start delivering on that, which is why I think we've got a big 48 hours. I don't think Ronaldo's leaving. I know I've always said I've got this fear that he will, and that's like a sixth sense. That is sixth sense, not sick. I've just had this horrible feeling for a while that Ronaldo will leave, but there's no logical reason for that. That's just if he does leave, I've got some weird powers, because I don't think it's logical that he leaves. I don't think he's threatening to leave. I just think he knows this is a big season and he wants the club to match his enthusiasm. And of course, this happened with Rooney as well. Remember when we got Rooney to sign a new contract and we promised we were going to invest in the team? Let's not forget, although we got Ronaldo, it wasn't just Ronaldo come and earn big money. It was Ronaldo come and win things at Man United. We're going to invest in this squad. So there's promises to Ronaldo that need to be kept as well, because I guarantee when we signed Ronaldo last summer, part of the persuasion was we're going to invest in this team, we're going to try and win the league, and we've not done anything this summer. So there's promises to Ronaldo from last year that need to show fruition this year. Mark, I don't really think the Glazers give a shit. They're driven by greed. We desperately need to keep Ronnie, says Andy and Bruno. Watching from Santorini, we need the players here for pre-season. Michael, you're so lucky. I wish I was in Santorini. Lovely place. Ronaldo has every right to be a bit annoyed for the lack of transfers, says Pedro. Yes, he does. And I think that this is just, as I said, I think this is just one of the massive advantages of having a player like Cristiano Ronaldo at Manchester United, because he is basically a super fan in the dressing room. He basically has the same. He might not have it for the same reasons, but he does have the same feelings that we have. He'll look at that dressing room and go, "Why are you so shit? Why are you wearing a United shirt? I want to win league titles. Shut up moaning and get on with it. Why aren't we signing players?" And he wants all that because he wants to win and he wants to score goals. But we go hand in hand with that because we want the same things, maybe just for different reasons. So look, we'll see what happens with it. I'm sure Manchester United are going to do some business, but Ronaldo has every right to be annoyed, as Pedro said. I agree. And just before we move on from Ronaldo as well, there was apparently Erik ten Hag has held a meeting with Ronaldo, probably over the phone, to be fair, because they're both on holiday. This is rumoured to be to do with the captaincy. I know that Ronaldo and Ten Hag have spoken, and I know that Ten Hag is absolutely intent on keeping Ronaldo at the club. Ronaldo is one of the greatest players that's ever played the game. Ten Hag needs that sort of mentality and ability in his first year, and also wants Ronaldo to be one of the leaders for the players that he's going to bring in, like, you know, your De Jongs and your Antonys and people like that. So he's desperate to keep Ronaldo. I mean, it's just pure paper talk and fiction when people start saying he won't suit Ten Hag. Ten Hag will want to get rid of him. You know, it's ridiculous. And I think he will stay, but I think we've got to start doing some business, and we've got to start doing some business soon. Ronaldo said he wants to win trophies at United. He will stay, says Mikel Roach. And if we don't sign any, but that's a completely different comment, Mikel. You're just talking about a player staying. That, with all due respect, I don't really understand what you're trying to say there. Ronaldo said he wants to win trophies, so he'll stay at United. It's like, it's sunny out. Like, what does that even mean? We're talking about his frustration at the lack of activity in the transfer window and how slow we're being. That's very different to saying I'm leaving the club. You can easily say you're staying at the club and still get very, very angry with it and say, what are you doing? Like, you're not going... It's like me saying to you, Mikel, are you going to go and support Man City now? Of course you're not. Doesn't mean you're not going to get angry and frustrated with United's lack of activity. None of us are going to leave United as football fans, but it doesn't mean we can't sit here and be frustrated, and that's exactly what this story about Ronaldo is. If we don't sign anyone before the dividends is taken out, we must react as fans. Let's come together and be united, says Mark Jones. Well, I don't know whether there's anything planned around that, but it will be the ultimate kick in the teeth. And I think I think for me, this is up there with the Super League. The Super League was a complete and utter betrayal of the fans by the Glazers in what they tried to do behind our backs. But I think that if on Friday they take 11 million quid out of the club, when we need that money to buy players and we haven't bought any players yet, and the first significant action of the Glazers in the middle of a transfer window is to take money out of the club, that is a bloody disgrace. And I want it on every paper, on every news show, on everywhere. That needs calling out. And unless they're not going to take that payment, I am absolutely convinced that United will do something in the next 48 hours. Now, let's bring it back into transfer news. Barca won't sell De Jong in June, says Faris. I mean, look, it's very difficult to predict what Manchester United might do first, let alone what they might do before Friday. But where we stand at the moment is, and it's quite funny because there's let me just put this up for you. Frankie de Jong has a 90% chance of going to Manchester United. So this is from a Spanish journalist. Well, we've been 90% for a few days, mate, so welcome to the club. I'm pretty sure it will happen. The question is when it will happen. J-Deep says, irrespective of signings, I can't see anything more than a decent domestic cup run. So what trophies exactly is Ronaldo vying for, says J-Deep. And Mark, this summer has a Fabregas feel to it with this De Jong saga, says Andy and Bruno. Yeah, I mentioned that a few weeks ago. Fabregas was a player that we tried to get in under David Moyes, and we all sort of fell into the trap, and then it didn't happen. You could almost say it's got a Sergio Ramos feel to it as well. We really thought we were going to get Sergio Ramos, and he ended up signing a new contract. Different circumstances, but yeah, I understand what people's trepidation. I think we will get players in, but this is painful, says Ewan, and I agree with that. I think we will get players in. But as a summary as to where we are before we go through the news, and from what I know, Lumilation, thank you very much for joining the members club. And Baj says, Frankie played 40 games as DM in last season at Ajax and only plays as CM Barca due to Busquets. Okay, I'll call this out. If you want to put a silly question in the chat, I will call it out. Erik ten Hag himself, with his own words, spoke about Frankie de Jong as a CDM and said you don't get the best out of him as a CDM. There is so much more to his game that he can't do if you play him as a CDM. He may end up playing as a CDM for Manchester United, but tell me, when do Ajax play with a CDM? They play with two midfielders for a start, and they basically pivot off each other. So we're not probably going to play with one holding midfielder. So you're living in the past there, under a previous regime, under a previous manager that played shitty football. We've got a new manager who plays attacking football with centre-backs on the halfway line and midfielders that dictate the press. So where you're getting this quarterback CDM that drops in between the centre-backs, I do not know. Because you've clearly not watched Ajax play under Erik ten Hag. And you've clearly not watched or listened to Erik ten Hag talk about Frankie de Jong. Because at no point has Erik ten Hag ever said, I think Frankie de Jong would be a brilliant CDM in between my two centre-backs taking the ball off the back four. I know Frankie thinks he likes it, but Erik ten Hag has quotable quotes saying that you get more out of de Jong if you let him become more of a box-to-box midfielder. So, look, who knows where anybody's going to play, but I cannot swallow people who say he's going to play as a CDM, as a holding midfielder, like we've still got Solskjaer in charge. You've got to learn what Ten Hag is going to do at United before you can start talking about what players are going to do what. And I don't know what he's going to do at United yet, but if you go off what he did at Ajax, we won't be playing with a holding midfielder. We'll be playing with a midfield too, which we've been talking about for about 3 months now. Anyway, where are we with Manchester United and transfers? Well, the first thing I want to say is that in relation to United, they've not given up on Timber yet. They completely own the fact that this has not gone the way they expected. Remember, we had personal terms basically done with Timber about a month ago. He went on international duty. Something changed. He is the priority centre-back for Erik ten Hag. Therefore, he is still United's number one priority. He has not signed the new contract at Ajax yet. There are lots of reports coming out of Ajax that they expect him to do that. Ajax have sold another player today. Sebastian Haller has gone to Dortmund. It is becoming very, very difficult for Manchester United to get one player out of Ajax now, let alone the two that most of us thought we could get. And again, this is because we are slow. We can act cool. We can be there in our sunglasses and our Ray-Bans, sipping a glass of iced water, going, look, there's plenty of time left in the transfer window. But you know what? Christmas Eve is the last time to buy your Christmas presents, right? If you wander into the shop on Christmas Eve and say, don't worry about it, Christmas isn't till tomorrow, and then you go in the shop and a lot of things are sold out because people have done their shopping early because they're prepared, you've only got yourself to blame. The fact that the window's open for a long time doesn't mean you can get stuff. And I think what's happened with Ajax is definitely like Christmas Eve shopping. Everyone else has gone to Ajax, the superstore, and they've bought what they wanted way before Christmas Eve. And United has sat there watching Home Alone saying, we'll go out this afternoon. And we're going to walk into Ajax and we're going to say, can we have this? Can we have that? And they're going to go, you're having a laugh. We've sold half of our team and you think you're going to have 2 players out of us. If you want 1 out of us, you can pay top dollar. So all this negotiation we've done with Frankie de Jong, it's not really about saving money, I don't think, because the money we'll save on de Jong, 10 million maybe, we'll lose on what we have to pay to Ajax because they don't want to sell any players anymore. So United haven't given up on Timber. He is still their priority. We'll see what happens with that. Obviously, we've been linked to Lisandro Martinez as well. Anthony is definitely a deal that we can do, and we can do that deal as quick as we want, but we're still very locked in on Frankie de Jong. And if you was to say to me who's going to be the signing that United make first, at the moment, from what I've been told, it will be De Jong or it will be Anthony. They're the two most advanced deals. But you know what? I said it at the start of the week. That dividend comes out on Friday. They've got to do something before Friday. And I've got to be honest, at the moment, it doesn't feel like anything's going to happen. But that, to me, just sounds ridiculous. In Frankie de Jong, are we going to bring in yet another player who will end up being overhyped by the press and fans, as Ronald? Well, it will definitely be under pressure. Mikael says, "I'm sorry, I get what you mean. I just want Ronaldo to stay and win trophies." I think Ronaldo will stay, Mikael. I think he's just frustrated. It's clear that Ronaldo was lied to. Investing in the squad is a promise made to both the fans and the players, says Michael T. How can our players give it their all when they can't even trust the club they play for? This is a massive problem at United, by the way. Michael's hit on a problem there. A lot of the players at United don't like the Glazers, and a lot of the players at United don't trust the ownership. So, that doesn't make for a happy squad either. Hi, Mark. Yesterday you alluded to a new addition to the shelf. What will it be, says Job. I don't know what you're talking about. Home Alone is good, to be fair, says Marcus. It's very good. Do you own a Son kit, says Fisher. And hi, Mark. What I don't think Ronnie is going Mark, I don't think Ronnie is going anywhere, but we are a bloody mess, and you never know what can happen in this business club of ours. And opinions on Pope to Newcastle, imagine Deitch, says Grug. Well, I'm not a Newcastle fan. I spoke about this last night, and I'm very frustrated that Pope has gone to Newcastle, because I think that was an opportunity for us to get some money with Henderson. But it just shows you, Henderson fans in our fan base won't like it, but Newcastle think Pope's better than Henderson. So that says everything you want to about that. I don't know. I think is it a hay fever day today or something? My nose has gone really irritable, and I don't like it. I do not like it. So yeah, I think with regards to transfers, I'm just going to go through some news here. So, because I'm finding it very difficult, to be honest with you. Fabrizio has come out and said that Manchester United have been in direct contact on Tuesday for Frankie de Jong. Still no agreement on the fee, and Barca telling United they won't sell for less than 86 million. They want the full fee guaranteed. I've got to say, this is one of the most frustrating transfers we've ever been involved in, and we probably have been involved in the most frustrating transfers. I just do not believe this anymore. I don't believe this. We're apart. Like, you know what? I'm sure you're all the same. I wake up in the morning, I get showered, breakfast, do a few jobs, take Seb to school, come back. Sometimes have another shower if it's hot. Cut the grass, get ready for this show, finish this show, go out and do a bit of shopping and stuff like that. We lead busy lives, basically. You can get through, on average, 50 tasks a day as a human being. And yet, for the last 9 weeks, the only updates we've got is, and I'll never understand this, United are 15 million apart. We've been 15 million apart for 9 weeks. Like, what are we doing at United? Are we going, we're 15 million apart, 9 o'clock? What's the update? Still 15 million apart. Week later, 15 million apart. Well, are we actually doing anything about it? 15 million apart. A month passes. Yeah, we're still 15 million apart. Like, what is going on in all these hours in a working day? Like, an email takes seconds to send. What are we actually doing? Are we just waiting for this deal to happen? I actually think there's something like hidden about this deal. I think it is something to do with, as I said yesterday, Barcelona are trying to clear some financial thing so that they can do this deal and get more money out of it. Because I tell you, I have had enough of it. I want Frankie de Jong to come to Manchester United. It's a shame he doesn't want to come to Manchester United, but I think with every passing day, it becomes more and more baffling why a new manager and a new Manchester United have spent so long on a deal that has cost us players from Ajax. Let's be honest. It's going to cost us big time to get players out of Ajax now because we've waited. And that is a huge point. Ten Hag and Ronaldo are the best thing to happen to this club for years and both currently getting let down, says Dowski. Why no CDM rumours, says Andrew O'Brien. Is this because United only want players like Rice in that position? Probably. Aidan B, welcome to the Members Club. Apparently Timber's agent is in Manchester by his Instagram story, says Dale. I'm not sure I believe that, Dale, but I don't believe the deal is dead. Would you rather win the Premier League and Europa League this season and keep the Glazers for them? I'm not doing that, Rice, sorry. Thanks for the super chat. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing hypothetical, never going to happen things. Win the Premier League next year is never going to happen. So there's your answer. Ten Hag, lack of football knowledge outside Ajax is becoming really telling, says Rash. I never want a manager to fail, but I'm happy Poch is available, says Rash. Guarantee that after 9 weeks of negotiating, United will pay Barca's asking price, says McKelvis. And I was buzzing when Ten Hag came in. The board have sucked the joy out of this transfer window again, says Dazzo. I mean, you know what? I don't actually agree with that. I don't necessarily agree that it's the board that's destroyed this deal. I think you've got to take on a joint responsibility. And I don't know whether there's a lack of planning, a lack of organisation, a lack of, naivety. We know that the plans that we had in place were ripped up, and we know that Erik ten Hag didn't start the job until the middle of May. So we're always playing catch up because clubs are working on their transfers from January. But one of the things that's really pissing me off is that we know Erik ten Hag wants Antony and Timber, and we know from the middle of May Ajax have gone and sold half their team, and they're now saying they don't want to sell anybody else. Why did we not get into Ajax early and try and get some of these players early? And that's the thing I really want to say. Antony and Timber were priority signings the minute Ten Hag walked into Man United. The middle of May. I want those two players. Coming towards the end of June, we've got neither of them. Okay? But Ajax have sold half their team. So Ajax are like, well, we don't want to sell any more players, and if we do, you're going to have to pay big money. That is stupidity on the part of United that have got a restricted budget, and they're now going to have to probably not get players out of Ajax or pay a lot of money to get players out of Ajax. It's just bad planning again. And it's all because of De Jong. And it's because we're obsessed with De Jong. And I think we just need to get that deal done so we can feel the positivity of the deal. Because it raises a lot of eyebrows as to no United fan in April expected us to go for a De Jong. Because it's like, we're crap. We can't bring one of the best midfielders in Europe to Manchester United. And the fact that we're doing it, somebody said to me the other day, we're just acting like a stupid, arrogant club going for De Jong. Like, it's way above what we should be trying to do. We were jammy to finish 6th. We're in the Europa League. We're not going to win the Premier League, and we're probably not going to be in the Champions League for a couple of years. And yet we're buying one of the best midfielders in the world to play in a team that's going to be fighting with the likes of Brighton's by the looks of it. Like, why are we doing that? Why are we not building a team from the ground up? Why are we buying a superstar again and spending all summer chasing a superstar like we're Man City trying to add the icing on the top of a cake that's already very nice? We haven't even baked a cake and we're buying the icing again. And I sort of agree with it. I do sort of agree with it. But my frustration is not that we're going for De Jong. My frustration is at how long it's taking and how the impact it's had on other deals. And especially Ajax, who are basically saying we don't want to sell anybody else. And that was our area to get a couple of players because they're players that have played under Ten Hag. So it is just a mess at the moment. And the club are apparently very calm. And they may come out of it looking very calm and very competent. But time is running out for that to happen. And whatever the club say, you're not going to look competent on Friday when you dish out 11 million quid, not on a player, but to these owners, and no other club does that. So you're not going to look competent and calm. You're going to look greedy and stupid, because that is greedy and stupid to do that, especially at this time. In relation to Frankie de Jong, I like him. I think he's a good player, but it is the amount of time that it's taken that's really energy sapping, isn't it? What I'm heating about this window is we not signed anybody yet, says Ray Carl Brown Amori. Thank you, Ray. And what's the minimum transfers we can accept as fans this window, and what position, says Progressive Dad? Well, as fans, we will accept what we're given, unfortunately, because that's the way Manchester United works. But I still believe we'll bring players in, but I don't think... Well, look, we wanted Nunez, we didn't get him. He wants Timber, he might not get him. He wanted Torres as second, he might not get him. So he could be looking at no striker, third choice centre-back. We don't know what's happening with Antony and De Jong yet. So we're failing to deliver at the moment. And I'm sorry, we are starting to hit the point of incompetence. If they get to Friday and nothing's been done, look, I'll be completely honest. I'm absolutely fed up of this De Jong deal. I really am. There's very little to like about it, other than, and the big thing, and I will say it makes everything pale into significance, is the fact that Erik ten Hag wants him, and as the manager, we have to back that, because he's not even kicked a ball as a manager. He's not managed a minute yet. So you've got to give the manager what he wants. I completely agree with that. Maybe some people think, well, he's got no idea what he needs because he's never managed here before. That's a worrying attitude to have because he's only just come into the club. You've got to get De Jong because Erik ten Hag wants him. But I'll tell you what, it's got a lot of things wrong with it. We're being played like a fiddle by Barcelona. The player doesn't even want to come. It's a huge amount of money. There's a lot not to like about it, but the thing that keeps me positive about it is that Ten Hag wants him. But as a transfer, it's galling. It really is frustrating, and it's a buzz killer, isn't it? It's a buzz killer. There's no excitement in relation to this deal. You know the player doesn't want to come. You know Barcelona are bending us over, and you know United are not doing any other deals because of it. And that's three big negatives. Player doesn't really want to come. Barcelona are totally in control of what's happening, and we're not buying any other players while we try and do this. And they are three big negatives on a summer that needs to be revolutionary. So we'll see. We laugh at Arsenal, who are signing players at their level, and we're chasing supermodels. We're like an over-the-hill middle-aged man on a Thai holiday, says Nick P. Very, very, very specific. And will you have new merch for next season, Mark? Says Spot. I don't know at the moment, mate. But going back to Nick P, yeah, I mean, look, Arsenal have bid for Rafinha. The bid isn't acceptable, but I don't think this is the Arsenal of old who offer, silly fees for people and they don't get them. I think this will end up with Rafinha going to Arsenal. I mean, I was told last night that Arsenal are almost there, that they will get that deal done. They've already got Vieira in. They're chasing a centre-back. They'll get Jesus in. That's 4 good signings for them, and I don't think they're done yet. Like, Spurs are moving forward on deals as well. Chelsea are now starting to do stuff. Will Glazers sell? Do you think Jim Ratcliffe wanted to buy Chelsea for 4.6? I don't think Sean Adams, I mean, I respect it, but I don't think that the Glazers selling Manchester United is something that, if they sold us today, we wouldn't buy any players this summer, because the new signing, if the Glazers said we're selling the club, they wouldn't buy anyone. They'd say, yeah, we are going to sell the club over the next 6 months, so we're not buying anyone because it's money out of our pocket and our profits. So talking about the sale of Manchester United is completely separate to what's going on in the transfer window. And if the Glazers said they were selling today, that would be the worst thing ever for the transfer window, because they just wouldn't buy anyone. And the new buyers wouldn't be able to get us quick enough to get in and buy players. So yeah, of course, the Glazers selling the clubs is something we all want, but it won't help us get signings in now. Like, we're living in this shit at the moment, and we've got to find a way out. And when I say living in the shit, we're still covered in the shit of last season, and we mustn't forget that. It's sad we didn't tap into Rangnick's brain for players. The board messed up again, says PJ. Yes and no. I mean, Ralph Rangnick had a very distinct plan of what United needed to do this summer. It involved, and I know this firsthand, it involved players. It involved players to sell. It involved players to buy. It was a wide scope of players, from Argentina across Europe, players that would have been around 20 to 40 million. And he was looking at, 5, 6, 7, 8 players. United ripped that up and sacked him. We can't say that was a mistake because we haven't finished this transfer window yet, and Erik ten Hag and Richard and Murta may well produce a really good transfer window. But yeah, Rangnick's plan was more what we thought was going to happen, and we thought that was going to happen because obviously he spoke about it a lot. Imagine if Barca plays us and De Jong signs a new contract and we've wasted all this time on him, says TXN. I think he will come to United. Maybe he's coming to United kicking and screaming, but I do think he'll come. It's depressing that we aren't efficient and that we don't know how to execute a plan. I really do wonder when Ten Hag must be thinking right now, says Ewan. And High Times United, thank you very much for joining the members club. I think Ten Hag, what he's thinking is very hard to know because he's a brand new personality that we don't really have experience with. But I think certain players in that team, your De Gea's, your Varans, your Ronaldos, Your Sanchos, I think they'll be looking at it going, why haven't we bought any players? There'll be other players like your McTominays and your Freds and your Maguires and a couple of others who'll be not that bothered because they'll be thinking, well, if they don't buy players, I start the season. And that's the difference in the mentality and the ability, isn't it? Someone like Ronaldo is like, why haven't you bought any players? Because this team isn't good enough and I want to win trophies. And then certain other players will be like, I'm quite pleased they haven't bought anyone yet because it's about me and I want to play. So there will be frustrated players at United, but it won't be the whole squad because some of them benefit from us not buying players. The standing orders at United are spend as little as possible to get fourth place, says Liam. That's never going to change under the current ownership and corporate management. It's simple, says Liam. Well, I put a tweet out today about Lukaku and I said, look, without doubt, he's a massive flop for Chelsea, but you know, United could learn a lot from what Chelsea do. Because surrounding that signing of Lukaku, they still got to cup finals and they still won trophies. And then they're going to get rid of him after 1 year. Now, United, we buy flops, we don't win trophies, and then we keep them for years and years. So there is absolutely no way a United fan can laugh or criticise Chelsea about Lukaku and try and have some moral thing that, he flopped. Because they're a football club and they're not a business. We are a business and not a football club. If we were like Chelsea and we bought Lukaku for 100 million quid, he'd still be here for another 3 or 4 years. They're going to get rid of him after 1 year because they know he ain't good enough. This is why we fail, because we cannot deal with mistakes that have cost us money. If Maguire was at Chelsea, they'd probably be getting rid of him. And a load of other people that cost us a load of money. They'd just get rid of them. Yes, there's a financial hit, but get rid of them because we'll make the money back by being successful on the pitch. So Chelsea get Lukaku in, 100 million quid, one bad season, get out. United will buy a player and we'll keep him. And financially, this is the issue. Mark, would you not take a year of the same team and new owners, or a good transfer window and the same crap owners? I'd choose a year of the same team, says Sean. Yeah, but it's a hypothetical, Sean. I mean, I get what you're saying, but I really am past hypotheticals. If I said to the chat, would you rather win the Champions League once in the next 10 years with the Glazers, or get relegated, come back in and win the Champions League in the next 5 years? Like, you'd go, I'll get relegated and take the hit. But it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. We've got to live in reality, and we can't have escapism. We can't have hypothetical escapism. We need to, be on the ball of the reality. And the reality is we bought nobody. We're missing out on players. Ajax are ready to close the shop. De Jong's not getting any closer. Dividends are coming out on Friday. Players are back in training on Monday. And we've not done any business. And we can't just keep hiding behind the transfer window. I mean, one of the big frustrations I have from people is when they go, but the transfer window doesn't shut till the end of August. But we're back in training next week. We're a crap team who need every training session we can get. And we haven't even got the new players in to train. Watch JTG Productions to get excited for the coming season, says Ruben. I can't get excited for the new season. Who have we bought? Mark, who do you think would win in a race? Michael Myers, Darth Vader, or Harry Maguire, says Joshua. I'd pay to watch it. Hey Mark, would you rather watch Lingard dancing for 5 hours or watch the Pogmentary? And have you seen Timber's photos in the Ajax kit? That scares me, says Grug. Look, Timber's probably staying at Ajax, but I've been told it's not over yet. Ronaldo should join us with Rafinha, Jesus, and the fellow countryman Vieira. This is Zayn Miassi, who is an Arsenal fan. Right, let's whiz through some of the headlines anyway. Okay, so this is from Chris Wheeler, Daily Mail. It should come up on the screen. No, it won't. It's okay. What's gone wrong there? Okay, I know what's gone wrong there. Let me get it up on the screen for you. So, Manchester United are set to keep Harry Maguire, but will look to sign a new centre-back if they can offload Eric Bailly, Phil Jones or Axel Tuanzebe this summer. I mean, the summer change. You know what? This is what I love as well. I mean, I know that's a journalist story and he might just be writing that with very little knowledge, or he might be getting it from the club. But I have started to see this a little bit more. Sky were on about it the other day. It's hilarious, and we should always remember this. At the start of a summer transfer window, we get told we're buying a centre-back, we're going to buy 5 players, the budget's 150 million. And then as the transfer window goes on and United don't do any business, you start to get stuff like this. United will only buy a centre-back if they can sell a centre-back. Hold on a minute. One of Eric Ten Hag's priority signings is a centre-back. It is a centre-back. And now we're getting, Well, they'll only get a centre-back if they can sell. And the story comes out, doesn't it? I want a centre-back, and then the club go, you'll get a centre-back. And then, why haven't I got a centre-back? Well, actually, you need to get rid of a centre-back first. Hold on a minute. I'm a new manager. I didn't buy this shit. You get rid of it. Well, we can't. So am I getting a centre-back? No. And this seems to happen a lot at United. And hopefully it's not going to happen this summer, but it has happened in previous summers where you go into a summer. I remember it happening with Mourinho. He wanted a centre-back, and it was like, you're not having a centre-back until you sell a centre-back, and we couldn't sell a centre-back. Erik Ten Hag plans to keep Maguire as one of his central defenders alongside Varane and Lindelof, even though the captaincy now appears to be up in the air. Well, apparently the captaincy is going to Ronaldo, but let's wait and see what happens with that. Also, Chris Wheeler, he says that De Jong is Manchester United's #1 transfer target as they remain locked in talks with Barcelona over a fee for the Holland midfielder. I wouldn't say we're locked in talks with Barcelona over a fee. I think we've lost the key and we've locked ourselves out of talks, and we're having to shout through a brick wall. We want him for 70 million. We want 80 million. Did you say 70? Is it a deal done? No. Yeah. God knows what's going on there. I think we're sending messages by carrier pigeon who go the wrong way around the world. You know, United will not be pressured into meeting Barca's 70 million demand and are prepared to walk away from the deal. Oh, here we go again. You know what? We were prepared to walk away from the De Jong deal a month ago. If we'd walked away from the De Jong deal a month ago, we could have got a couple of players in from Ajax, got a couple of midfielders in. You could have got Lema, you could have got Neves. We could have walked away from this deal from day one and had a good summer. Like, straight away, Neves, Lema, Timber, Anthony. We could have got all those players done by now. So if we walk away, if they think walking away from this deal, having wasted the last 9 weeks, is a good look with that. And also Chris Wheeler saying Dean Henderson is expected to join Forest on a season-long loan as talks between. I mean, again, absolutely no interest in that story at all. In fact, it's an irritant. All it can do is irritate fans. The player that wants out of this club, that thinks he should be Man United's #1 and England's #1, can only get a loan move to Nottingham Forest. All due respect to Forest, but you're a newly promoted team that's probably going to be in a relegation battle. That's all Dean Henderson can get. And his other option was apparently Bournemouth. This is a guy that's been gobbing off that he should be United's #1, right? And he can only get a loan to a relegation candidate. Newcastle chose Nick Pope over him. And I'm meant to be happy that he's going on loan. He'll be back again next year, telling us that he's the #1 again. So we desperately need money, and we're loaning somebody out and paying their wages. I mean, again, it's not Dean Henderson's fault. But the reality is, it's a symbolism of frustration and incompetence in relation to a player that really we should have 20 million quid going into our transfer budget. And actually, we're spending probably... He's on 140 grand a week. I bet Forest are only paying him 50. So I guarantee we're paying 400 grand a week in wages for a player to be on loan somewhere else in the Premier League, which is around 5 million a year. It's crazy, isn't it? Crazy. And those sort of things should not be called out, by the way. I think that's a bloody embarrassment for United negotiators again. There's 20 million quid there in a player we should be able to sell. You give him a contract of 140 grand a week. He's one of the best paid players in the Premier League, and you're paying him to go and play football elsewhere. How embarrassing is that? Like, he should be sold. Why is he not being sold? Like, because you can't sell him, can you? Because you've given him stupid bloody wages and no one will buy him. So you've got to pay somebody else. So really, the plan with Henderson is this. Let's bring him back in a year and maybe he can be the #1 again. So he's not going to be United's #1 because he's good enough. He's going to be United's #1 because we're stuck with him. Because nobody else bloody wants him. No big club wants him, do they? So he'll go to Forest, he'll make a load of saves, everyone will say he should be the #1 goalkeeper, he'll come back in again, and we'll be back where we've been for the last 4 years. The sad truth is no one wants to join United. All we can hope for is Ten Hag is a tactical genius and make Andreas Pereira the next Andrea Pirlo, says Fraser Clark. Well, there you go. I didn't actually expect this morning's show to actually get me so pissed off, but I am. And I think over the next 48 hours, it's probably going to get even more frustrating. I cannot believe United won't do something before that dividend hits the Glazers' bank account on Friday. But we are at 10 o'clock on Wednesday, and they've got 48 hours, basically. I would say, from what I know, that if they're going to do any deal, it will be Anthony. But I actually think they'll try and spin a way that De Jong is nearly done, or a fee has been agreed. There'll be something like that. where he doesn't actually officially sign, but we finally agreed a fee or something like that. That's my prediction. They've got to spin something positive before Friday, and at the moment, there's an outside chance we'll get Anthony done, but reality is we're probably going to say we're close to a fee or we've agreed a fee or something like that, and then he still won't sign for another 3 weeks. So we'll see. We'll see. Thanks everyone for watching. Make sure you smash a like on the video and subscribe, bottom right hand corner. Thank you very much to our new members. I will just say that if you are a member, we've got something very exciting for you coming up at the start of July. More additional stuff for the members, which I think you'll really enjoy, in addition to the exclusive videos we do for you every week anyway. Thanks everyone for watching. I will speak to you at the 2 o'clock show. Thank you very much for that.